The weirdest, most crazy audition I've ever had was for a show called Supernatural. I got the email in my inbox, in my my phone, and I was like, my first reaction was, that show's still on? Because it was like season 8. And not because it's a bad show, but because if I'm demographically right for a show, I would have read for it like a dozen times. In 8 seasons, I'd never auditioned for this show. So I was like, what's going on? It's a CW show. I was like in my late 20s at that time. I should have auditioned for it a lot. But I did have a lot of children, and so that... It's hard to audition for teenage shows when you're pregnant all the time. Always pregnant. So then, I think I got it like that morning or the night before or something, and I was just talking to my mom, and I'm kind of like scrolling through it, and I'm like, oh. So I don't know if you remember my first episode when Abaddon comes on, but they stab me in the back, and then they shoot me in the face, and they chop my head off.
Yeah.
That was my audition scene, all rolled into one. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay, whatever, and I paid it really kind of no attention. I was just like, have fun, I'm just gonna go have fun. I'm an actor, this is what I do, I'm gonna walk in the room, which, the audition room, this is always a big complaint. This is what Morgan and I talked about on the airplane. Auditions are not what we do. I just had a test for a series for CBS, and it's so nerve-wracking. I never get nervous on set. I go and play with my friends. I do what I do. I create a character. I have fun. But when you're in an audition and there's like 25 executives, like in a theater setting, and there's a camera, and you know how much money you're going to make if you get this job for the next 7 years. There's so much, it's so weird, and it's just not what we do. And so a similar situation was this audition for Supernatural. When you walk into it and you have to get stabbed in the back and shot in the face and your head chopped off. In a room that looks very much like this with 4 guys on the couch and you against a curtain. I mean, what do you do with that? I don't know, I got the job.
So you did well.
You
died very well.
Yeah, or everyone else sucked. There is that.
I came in and auditioned for Eric Kripke. He's a guy that works on the show. And
Get that role?
I did, actually.
You're playing Eric?
No.
The English and their grammar.
And the role was for a demon, and I did a very good job. It was almost at Chris Heiderall kind of level of demon work. And then they said, no, it's actually an angel. We're introducing an angel to the show, but we wanted to keep it a secret. We didn't want anyone to know that we were even auditioning an angel. So do it again, but do it like an angel. And all of my preparation had to go out the window, and I just sort of said the words blankly, and apparently that's what they were looking for. Because they cast me.
I read a script written by Ben Edlund, who I love and have worked with before. Creator of The Tick. Yeah. But I read the opening scene, and the opening scene is me making out with a 70-year-old man at the crossroads. Yeah, I'm not doing anything next week. So, it was an interesting journey. It was an interesting journey. So much fun. Kissing's fun too.
Wow. This Supernatural audition was actually kind of crazy for me. I was on my way to LA. I was traveling through Vancouver for a week just to hang out with my family, and I got a call for the Supernatural audition, which just happened to be the day after I was supposed to leave to go to LA for a callback on this J.J. Abrams pilot. And I decided, my agents suggested, you really should go. It's a producer-director session, so it's kind of like a callback already. It's and you should just make the thing. And at the time, I was a struggling actor, just working day to day, and I had to spend $600 to change my flight to make the audition. And so right away, it was the most expensive audition I've ever done, the only one with an actual dollar figure attached to it, and I did it. And then I had to change my flight again to make the other one because I wanted to catch the producers and they were leaving early. So I spent $800 on auditions that week, which was really crazy. But because of that, I really worked my butt off on both auditions, and by Saturday, I got both roles. Yeah. Now, the crappy part about that is that the schedules conflict, and they're like, okay, you have to pick one. And for Supernatural, it was a guest star. You're going to die in maybe 2-3 episodes. For the other one, it's like the series regular on a J.J. Abrams pilot. I'm like, okay. And then, like, on the top of that, you have to say yes or no to Supernatural by Monday. And the other one, they want you, but you still have to go through studio and network testing, which won't go till Wednesday. So if you go for that one, you have to say no to Supernatural, and then there's still a chance you might not get it. And it was such a tough decision, but I'm like, you know what? I'm in it for the series regular, so I declined Supernatural on Sunday. And Monday morning, they gave me a call, and they're like, Osric, you have a horseshoe up your ass. It's the same business affairs guy doing both shows, and they don't want to lose an actor to, to their own show. So they're going to make it work out somehow. The J.J. Abrams pilot didn't end up happening, and Supernatural turned into what it is. So.
I was a fan of Supernatural in the beginning, and I sort of just, got busy, and I stopped watching TV for a while consistently. But I always thought, after being on Buffy especially, it's like, oh, Supernatural is the one show that sort of carries the torch of Buffy, right? I know, right? And I should be on that show. Actors always look at TV and it's like, well, why wasn't I that? I would have done that better. I would have done that better. What? I should be on that show. And your grandma's like, Supernatural, it's about some things that you do things with. I'm like, great. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Grandma. Really good advice. I should get on that show. So, and then, there were rumors during this, I think, I came on in season 7, and it was like January of that year, I was like, damn, I'm never going to be on Supernatural, because there were rumors that the show's going to end. And I kind of got depressed. And at the same time, I was starting my company, which is like literally the hardest thing you could ever imagine doing. I've aged like 5 years and 6 months trying to get my company ready to launch in April of that year. So they called me at the end of February and they're like, we have a role that we'd like you to do on Supernatural. And I was like, oh God, the timing is so bad. Yes. Because I was like, I'm not going to let the chance to be on a show that I feel, I should be on pass up, and I actually had turned down several of the roles on other TV shows. But there's certain things that I love doing in my life, and I love being on shows that actually have fans who love the show and it impacts them. I turned down a lot of acting jobs because I'm really busy doing the other things I do, and the only shows that I'm ever attracted to doing are the ones who have fans who are impacted more. Like, I don't want to be on a show that it's like, oh yeah, the middle's on, I'll watch it. I mean, not to insult the middle, but I love Patricia Heaton, and if we ever talk, don't punch me in the face, but it's not like nobody's lives are changed, nobody's like creating a community around the middle, probably, right? It's just a different kind of TV. And to me, the best TV is one that creates community, that affects people's lives outside the actual show, because people connect and that enriches their lives. So Supernatural is like the epitome of that. So I dropped everything. I was like, hey, I know we're launching a company. I'm outsy. And it was an amazing experience. And the role, when I read it, I just couldn't turn it down. Like, it was just impossible. So, that's how I came on the show. And like the fact that was never supposed to do more than one episode, ever. They just kept writing me in, and I'm like, absolutely, I'll drop it. So here's knocking on. This is maybe not wood, but they'll keep me coming back.
Hi, Kim. Can you tell me or see through your process of when you got the brief about your character and how you went through the audition process, and if you ever thought at that beginning that she would continually be turning up, had you been told that at all?
No, I had no clue that she would ever show up again, and I don't think they had any clue that she would ever show up again. The audition scene, do you remember when Jodie walks in and finds her son eating her husband's guts? As you do on Supernatural. And then the entire flight outward and the ramifications and that was the audition scene. So it wasn't subtle. And I went in because I know the casting director, so he brought me, there were only 6 of us auditioning, and we were all shapes and colors. It was clearly not a defined, we're looking for a Kim Rhodes type. It was one of every flavor. And I was sitting waiting for the audition, and the casting director walked past, and the stocky redheaded version of the option said, hey, we're not going to go all the way through this scene, are we? He goes, yeah, what? She goes, it's completely impossible. You can't do this in an audition. He goes, it's supernatural. And he kept walking in, and it was the moment that I went, I got this. Because I'm ready. You want to go? Let's go. But even then, when I did the show, I had no clue they were going to bring me back. Even now, there's a hope, there's an eternal hope. I think for everyone who's ever worked on Supernatural, we would like to go back. But they don't, I'm not one that they were like, let's get you a contract and make sure you know you got 13 episodes this season. That's not me. So they respond to fan feedback and possibly to the fact that I keep sending them cookies.
That sounds like it would work. Yeah.
It did so far. Still alive.
No, what was your guys' experience like, and was it what you expected on the set?
On this set or on any set?
On like any set, like on Supernatural, like needing to
So
have
the set.
Yes.
Yeah, on this set. We'll go with
What
this
was your
set.
experience like on any set? I mean, Supernatural.
That's a valid question.
What was the first experience, our experience, like
Yes. Yeah.
pertaining to Supernatural?
Yeah.
So like when we met for the first time kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy is really tall and skinny.
And I was like, wow.
This guy's handsome.
Maybe I didn't read the script right. I thought I was supposed to have a brother. That's one of the earlier. I don't remember getting the script originally, but I remember reading through it and being like, at the time, like Charmed was on, and Angel, and maybe Buffy was still on, and those are all great shows, but not the show I wanted to do next in my career. I was like, well, fun, but I wanted to do something a little bit grittier and more real, a little bit kind of like gnarlier. And they were like, no, listen, this is not going to be a show about like the goofy aspects of science fiction. It's going to be kind of gritty, like X-Files. I was like, all right, well, send it to me, let me read it. And I read it and I was like, this kicks ass. Like we should definitely go after this. And so very shortly thereafter, probably within the span of a week or something, we were reading for the heads of the network in the studio, and we show up. And usually when you get to an audition, it's a horrifically anxiety-inducing process. And you usually walk in, and it's like all the guys who kind of look like you and are within 5 years of your age, either with this or that way. A lot of them have a lot more experience, and they're all talking about like this role they just did or that thing they did. It's a mortifying, just really dehumanizing experience. And so we get there, and I'm like, okay, every person who I've ever seen on a TV show or movie that's my age is going to be there, auditioning for this pilot because it was the big Warner Brothers pilot. And so I show up, and Johnny Hansen walks in and is like, hey, you seen Days of Our Lives, Dark Angel, and Smallville? Yeah, that's me.
And I knew he had, it was just a formality.
No, and so he walks in, we start talking. Hey, where you from? Texas. Me too. Yeah. Who's your, yeehaw. Yee frickin' ha. Who's your team? Cowboys. Me too. You listen to music? Yeah. You like country? Yeah. Me too. Long story short, we got along, and we were the only people that showed up.
Yeah, then my question was, where's everybody else? He's like, I don't know. He's like, are you reading for Sam or Dean? I'm like, I'm reading for Dean. He's like, I'm reading for Sam. I'm like, so where's everybody else? Where are the other 10 actors that are fighting for this job, right? Fighting for this role? And no one ever showed up. And then they asked the two of us to come back. We read together for the first time ever in front of 30 executives and Warner Brothers and And
When I told Dad I was scared of the thing in my closet, he gave me a 45.
what was he supposed to do?
You know what's out there.
In actuality, it was, what was he supposed to do?
There's this. He gave me 45.
What was he supposed to do? You know what's out there.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you.